I'm out here today on the 2006 Sportster. I usually don't start videos in the middle of Ripley, but I'm in the middle of the old section of Ripley. That building there is the post office. I'm sure it's not the same building, but that building's pretty old. Might be the same location, but there was a raid on the post office in Ripley during the Civil War, and even then, I guess it was more of a federal crime. Didn't have anything to do with the military that he got charged for, but the guy got imprisoned. I think he was a Confederate. We had a lot of both around here. He got imprisoned for, I guess, tampering with the mail or something. There's the courthouse. There's the front of the post office. This here part of Jackson County, I guess the southern half was more likely to, I mean, it was close either way, but more likely to be sympathetic with the Confederates. And the upper part of Jackson County, like towards Ravenswood, was more with the northern. I had relatives on both sides. I guess my closest relative, he was a Yankee. He wasn't real old. He was my dad's. He would have been my dad's great-grandpa. He would have been my great-great-grandpa. He got wounded real bad, I think at Droop Mountain, and got shot like in the hip or something. He was kind of disabled for life after that. But he got sent to Andersonville. He was in Andersonville. Lucky he didn't die from disease and stuff there. His name was Gamelia Kearns. My dad used to talk about him. I don't know whether Dad had just heard stories about him or Dad can still remember him. I don't know what year he died. But I had another relative. I don't know exactly how we were related. His dad's name was Mays. Well, he was a Confederate, also in the Battle of Droop Mountain, and evidently, I don't know whether it's more of a joking thing or an arguing thing, but he claimed to shoot that Gamelia Kearns in the ass at the Battle of Droop Mountain from where he got wounded in the hip. I remember when I was a kid, that Mays guy's dad had wrote a book, or his son had wrote a book. It's more or less just a big family tree. And he visited a bunch of people. He visited us. I barely remember it. But he gave us that book. That guy's name was James Mays. The Confederate, maybe the son, both. tried to read up on that Camellia Kearns one time, just because he's a direct descendant, or I'm a direct descendant of his. And I didn't find a lot on him, but what I found was kind of sad. It seems like I think he had to fight some for his pension. There's still records out there on the internet. But he also complained of what would now be considered elder abuse, claiming one of his sons was mistreating him and taking his money or something like that. I mean, it could have been senility on the guy's part, or maybe he actually was getting mistreated. This is Route 33, by the way. But most people with my last name, I don't know a lot about their actual military history during the Civil War. But from what I've seen, most of them out there around Kentucky, they were sympathetic towards the Confederacy, where that's like in the Home Guard. Down frozen camps today. Don't really have a whole lot to do. Like I mentioned in other videos, kind of waiting for some of the rides for the leaf change. It's been so dry around here lately. We've been in kind of a drought. Supposed to get some rain in a couple days. Want to get a ride in. I was never in the military. I think Dad kind of hoped that me and my brother would go, especially my brother, because he didn't really have much prospects, I don't think so, for a while. But it was kind of just something kind of expected to do on my dad's side of the family. All his brothers, including himself, was in it. Two of his brothers was in Vietnam, but one of them never really saw action. He was some sort of clerk. He spent a lot of time in Thailand, and he used to talk about the cobras that would, I guess they would actually kill people. He was some kind of clerk in charge of, I guess, a big salvage yard, and people would, I guess the people from Thailand would try to get into that salvage yard. And he said they would sometimes find people dead from cobra bites that didn't even make it out of the yard. And my other one was a combat pilot. My other uncle, he was the last one to live out of all 8 kids. And he was the 3rd oldest. There was 2 older than him. die that long ago. I think he was right shy of 90, or maybe he had just turned 90. And on my mother's side of the family, there were Mom, Bill, Hubby, there were 6 kids, but the youngest was the only boy. Then my grandmother adopted 2. I know she adopted 3 later in life. One of them was more or less almost an adult, and he didn't even take the last name. He probably was never legally adopted, but he's still considered a member of the family. I guess if that Amelia Kearns was shot a little different or died in Andersonville, I wouldn't be alive. I don't think. I don't know what his daughter, who would be my great-grandmother Alice, was born. But I'm pretty sure it would have been after the Civil War. My mother's dad, I never knew him. My mom didn't know him real good. He got wounded real bad in World War II. And he was, I don't know if he was completely deaf or just about deaf, and I don't know whether his brain was damaged or not. He might have been shell-shocked, or he might have just been deaf, I don't know. But they lived at Marmet at the time, and I think he would just wander around after he come back. And he ended up getting hit by a train. I guess he couldn't hear it, and it killed him. My mother wasn't very old. She was the oldest of the kids. This is Frozen Camp Road, by the way. It's not a real pretty drive. People got into putting the rental trailers up there one time. Which there's nothing wrong with that. But they didn't really maintain everything. And I don't think they even rent them now. But they're still up here, I guess just decaying. I'm sitting here now on this slow road, thinking of when I was just fresh out of high school and joined the Peace Corps. Dad would want me to join there's a young deer there. Doe. Wasn't as young as I thought. I think it's just a small doe. Well, anyways, that stint I spent in the Peace Corps was probably more dangerous than the military would have been. I had took VOAG and all that stuff in high school, knew a little bit about sheep. Well, anyways, they put me in this village. Most villagers had never even seen a white man before. And I was supposed to help them with their sheep herd. They were hunters and things, but they were trying to steer them towards domestic animals. Well, anyways, everything was fine for the first year. Chief liked me. I spent time in his hut. More or less lived in his hut. It was the biggest hut around. Had a real pretty young wife. Well, anyways, his wife gets pregnant about a year after I was there, maybe 9 months, I don't know. Anyways, the whole tribe was excited. Anyways, she gives birth, and I hadn't seen the baby. Everybody starts kind of treating me rudely. Just act like I was a total stranger. Start hearing some stuff about Uncle Bosie. But anyways, come to find out, she gave birth to a white baby. And I was the only white around. Hadn't been any other whites in the village for over a year. Well, anyways, I started to think I'd be in big trouble. And the chief calls me before him. He got his advisor there, which is more or less the high priest. And I think they were planning on killing me. And I told him, I said, Chief, what you have here is an albino. I said, he'll do great things. And I said, it's kind of a sign. It's a sign that he'll be a great man. Anyways, the chief kind of believed me, but he wanted his high priest to test me. So his high priest says, come with me. I go walking with the high priest, and he said, explain this albino to me. And I said, well, in nature, things happen. I said that albino is not very common, but does happen. I said, look at all them newly born baby lambs out there. They're all white. I said, that one black lamb out there. And the high priest said, okay, I'll smooth things over with the chief. You just don't mention anything else about that black lamb, and I won't mention anything else about that white baby. Wasn't a very good delivery on it. Actually not a bad joke, but shouldn't be too far from the lake. We ain't, because that's the road that goes to that one. You can't make it up there on this. If I had a dual sport, I could come out of here several different ways. Still considering coming out of here a different way. Have some gravel, but my eyes ain't very good. I seen them post up on that bank and thought they were deer. There's one of the dams, and they got a bigger lake up there. frozen camp. We used to drive across this when it was just a stream and shoot up the hill. Takes you right out the gate. If you drive across it until maybe 94. People in here today fishing from the bank. There's the boat now. Man, water is low and scuzzy looking. I bet that one out of Stats Mill is really low. Well, I think I'm going to stop this one here. Might pick up another one. So I thank everybody for watching.